What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Newage Romulus, or their version of a chug scale Megatron. So this is the first in any series of chug scale figures from Newage. I guess they're trying out a new scale. They have made a couple of MP figures as well as a bunch of Legends, a lot. In fact, actually, they're pretty prolific in the Legends game. Now here we are with the chug scale. Let's get in close on the detail. I did buy this for myself, so this is my copy. You got fully painted surfaces everywhere. You have gray paint pretty much throughout. Gold paint, blue paint, and red paint there for that chest area. We have black paint on the gun. I believe this is just red plastic, but you do have red paint here on his abs or on the sides. The gunmetal paint for the legs on the inner thigh or inner legs and the front. A little bit on the back. Here's the back. It does look nice. It cleans up pretty nicely for a Legend scale figure. There's a little bit of kibbliness here in the inner thighs. You don't really see it unless you're posing it in a way where those are shown. But overall, it's a very good looking version of Megatron. There is an adjustment you can make out of box that just makes him a little bit taller. So if you push the feet back, the feet will sit recessed, and back in there. And that makes him a little bit shorter. So if you measure him, which I know is a question for lots and lots of people, about 6 and 5/8 to the top of the head, or 6 and 7/8 to the top of the cannon. And if you shift this forward and then you angle it so that he's faced forward on those feet, you get a little bit more out of it. Now we're at 6 and 6/8. So you get an extra 1/8 inch out of it. I don't know what that is in centimeters. It does help make him a little bit taller. Later we'll bring in some figures for comparison. But he does feel a little bit on the small side, for at least for what most people want him for. So let's go over the articulation. Head is on a ball joint. To check. Well, it's a hinge and a ball joint. So he's got a ball joint for the head, forward and backward, side to side, and rotates around. But the neck itself can move because that's on a hinge. So one thing you want to check when you take this out of the box, make sure the head is centered in the middle and not off shifted. But you do get plenty of movement there. Shoulders rotate around on friction. All the friction joints are well tolerances, just like you'd expect from Newage, but from the Legend scale. There are no ratchets on this guy. It does feel a lot more like Legends than it does like Masterpiece. Obviously it's not Masterpiece, but I just wanted to give you a sense for how does it feel. It feels good, but more like Legends. Rotation at the bicep, double jointed elbow, full bend. You can detach the gun if you want and swap sides. I guess you can't swap sides because there's a hole here. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, if you want swap sides, that's not a thing you can do. Continuing, you can open up the cannon if you want a longer one, but obviously, I think it makes more sense to have it collapsed for robot mode. You have a waist rotation here, ab crunch, double ab crunch. You have one in the middle section here that gets you down to there, and it does collapse this centerpiece here to get it. And then you have this ab crunch there at the bottom, so you can get really crunched over using both. Make sure you collapse this in and don't scratch up the paint. You have hip skirts on the front and sides. The legs will kick up to there. It is a die cast hinge there, which I think is important because later we'll see that it's a pretty important transformation joint. Out to the side on friction. This could have stood to be a little bit tighter. It works. It's just compared to most joints on, new age stuff, you have metal on plastic. That's kind of the issue there. Rotation of the thigh at a cut joint or at a hinge. You have a double jointed knee, gets you the full bend. Little piece. It's not the best looking knee, but it does work. And I showed you the ankles earlier. They can slide forward and backwards. You have ankle tilt all the way out to there. And you have forward and backward on that ankle as well. All right, now we do get some nice accessories for this guy. We get his blaster. All of them are done in this translucent purple. You get a blaster. You can open up the hands. And I forgot to show the articulation for the hands, but hands, the fingers are on 2 pins. The bottom 3 are connected. The pointer finger is separate, so he can point. And then the thumb is on a hinge. So done similar to what we get with like Takara figures. And obviously better than mainline stuff, but can close up the fingers around. And he can hold it, but there's no like tab. He does hold it, but I was just surprised to find that there was no tab. We also get this sword, and again, no tab, but done in that translucent purple. And again, and the hands can pop off if you pull them off the ball joint, but you don't need to replace them with anything, obviously, because they are articulated. And he can hold that. Again, doesn't clip in, but it does work. And then the last accessory you get is his mace. Looks like this. Now this one, we're going to remove the hand, pop on the mace, and now you got this. And that's a good looking mace. I mean, the chain itself is a nice, couldn't remember the name, gunmetal look to it. So here's the stock face that comes with it. Good looking sculpt. It does seem a little bit on the green side, the hue. If you lift up on the top of the head, slide down on the face, and that'll pop it off. And there's a smirking, smiling face. There's his laughing or maniacal face. And there's his yelling or angry face. Probably my favorite. I'll probably leave that on for the review. Nice to have those options. All right, for some size comparisons, there it is next to the Dramatic Capture Series or the repaint of the Earthrise Optimus and the Studio Series 86 Optimus. And I think this is where there's some disappointment with this figure. It's a little bit on the small side. Definitely too small to fit in with SS86. You can see just proportion-wise, it's just too small. It doesn't look right, and also it's shorter. And with this guy, I think it does work. He's still a hair shorter, even with the maximized, ankle height. He still comes in a tiny bit shorter, but this works a lot better. So if you're planning to display him in a chug collection with other figures, I think it'll work if you're using this Optimus. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into gun mode. And I'm going to deviate just a bit from the instructions just to make my life a little easier. Go ahead and remove this gun. You're going to flip this tab over and just set this aside. Actually, we're going to open this up. Now you can set this aside. And to make my life easier, this thing often falls off as I'm messing with it. So I'm just going to pull it off for now. You can transform it with on there, but I'm going to set it aside. I do recommend that just to make your job a little bit easier. So we're going to fold the arm up, fold the arm back, and we're going to pull apart the chest piece here. And it's a little tricky what you're trying to do, but first fold this out, and that's going to go to the side. You can just leave this down for now. Then we're going to separate the chest, and the front piece will untab from here, and the back piece will untab from here, and then you can get this whole backpack apart. And you might need a spudger for some of this transformation. There we go. So there's a tab right here and a tab right here. So this tab is going in there. This tab is going into there. And that's kind of separating the front and the back from each other. And that tab is pretty tight, so just keep that in mind. When you do this, it is going to be a bit on the tight side. All right, on the back, we're going to fold this down, and then you're going to fold this panel back up, so it sits right there. And now you can see why I suggested taking that barrel off, because it just makes everything easier as you're messing with this. All right, so for this arm, we can start working on this. Go ahead and come to the inside. We're going to open up this panel right here. We're going to accordion open this hand, flip this down, flip this around. We're going to fold up this piece here, and you're going to rotate this outside panel. And fold this back over, and you should end up with something like this, with this on the back. And let's reorient here. We're going to get this panel opened up, rotate this around, and that will plug into there. And then come back to this side. This will come down and tab in there. The hand is just going to sit down like this for now. On the bottom here, we're going to open up this panel, and you can use a spudger to get right in here. There we go. Open up this panel, and that kind of fills out that area. But it also allows you to fold this panel back. So it should be sitting like this. And on the inside here, this is going to collapse in as you fold that up, and this will sit flat on his stomach. All right. So that's one side. The other side is similar, but different enough that I'm going to do it on camera. So open this up, and we'll rotate this around, accordion that back in, come to this side, open up this panel. We can open up this panel on the back, and we're going to accordion this down. This will rotate all the way around until it ends up on the other side, and then you can close that down, and you can bring this cover piece down. So you end up like this. This side has the little trigger, and this side has a cover. They should look different. Right. Come to here, we're going to lift up on this panel. It's on a double hinge. Lift this up. You rotate this around, and then you can push that back down. This will come down and fit right there. And you can leave these open because you can tell what's going to happen there. We're going to end up with the head in the middle. So for the head piece, open this up all the way. The head will rotate this way, rock back, and sit like this on the inside. And we forgot to open up this panel on this side, so let's do that. Make sure you open up this little panel, which will allow you to release this panel. And now you got this little space for the head. That's why these two holes are here. So that's kind of a way to keep track of the transformation. You got to end up with that slot. So bring this down. This will come around, and basically sandwich that head. And there's pegs on the top here that this is pegging into. So don't push it all the way down. Make sure this head is making its way in to the slot. And then once you get this together, go ahead and tab this together. There's a tab in the middle here. Just going to push that together. And then push down on this so this tabs into the top of that. And come here, we can bring this up. This will fit right in the middle. And then you can tab these together. And had you done it the way they recommend, this would still be plugged in there. We'll just put that back on. All right, so here's how we're looking. You have the hand sticking out back here. That's going to end up inside eventually. For now, leave those there. Just fold it up. Now we'll take care of the legs. For the legs, we're going to rotate the waist. So he's facing like this. Open up this hip skirt, open up this hip skirt, open up this bottom one. For this one, we can fold this on a double hinge. It's going to hide underneath there. This will fold up and end up sitting right there. These hip skirts will unpeg from the back. So come to here, unpeg these two black pieces, which will allow you to take all of this and accordion that back. See in here, accordion that back. And just leave those out for now because we got to kind of put that in at the end. Here's how we're looking. Make sure this is right down the middle. All right, so open up your legs on the bottom, and this is the trickiest part of the entire thing, so pay attention to it. We're going to fold down on the heel. We're going to open up this panel. All right. This will come all the way to the other side, and then you can rotate this up. So it ends up like this. We're going to take this piece here. This will unpeg from here. We can rotate this down. This little hinge will close up. Bring this up. Close up and sit right on the back. It's actually pretty tidy the way it ends up. And we're going to rotate this so it should look like this. And then I'll rotate into here. All right, pretty clean. And then this will accordion up. We're going to split the foot, accordion this up, and then this will just sit right there. So that's how you want the inside of that. Hopefully that was clear. Open this up, open that up. This will swing back around. This is on a slider. So as you swing this in, you're going to push it down on that slider and it'll flatten out and sit nicely inside of this handle. All right, while we're here, we're going to unpeg and see this fell out. So that's one of the reasons I suggest just waiting till the end to put that on, because it's just aggravation you don't need. Open this up. This is tabbed in right here on this circle peg. Open this, this. Obviously that's going to be the trigger guard. And this part right here is the trickiest part. Open this panel right here. Open this panel on the back. All right, so we want to rotate. We want to rotate this so that you get this die cast hinge flat. Then you're going to rotate down on this die cast hinge. Open up this entire midsection. And yeah, I got disoriented, but you want it so that you end up with this flat against this. So it should something like this. This is going to come back. You're going to end up, this will click in right here. So bring this down and tab this in. And on this side, you can see it's clipping in right there. All right. This is going to stay open for now. And this whole thing's going to end up in here like this. But first we got to do the other side. So go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Then you can tab everything together. Okay. Bring down this trigger. And we're going to straighten this up. And we should end up with something like this. This will come down on the back. These will come down on the side. This will come down and tab into here. Make sure these are flat. Same on this side. Bring this down. Tab it into here. Tab it into there. And there are two little tabs right here on the side that are going in. So make sure those make its way in as well. Bring this panel down, that will tab into there. That really solidifies things. Same on this side, bring that down. It's tabbing into two places on the side. And that's what really kind of locks this whole thing together. And then this trigger guard plugs in right here. And if you took it off like I did, go ahead, reattach that. Come to the top here, we're going to plug this into here. All right, and there's Romulus in gun mode, and it looks really, really good. It fits nicely in the human hand. My hands are, relatively big, and this fits in fine. I like it. I like the size. It's obviously smaller than a real gun, but it looks good. No orange cap this time, so I guess they're not worried about that. But overall, very good looking gun. I do wish they had the stock and the barrel. It looks like there's a place to attach it, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't see a rail here. This could probably take a barrel, but I'm not sure if this could take a stock. Hopefully they're thinking about an add-on piece. I mean, it would have been nice if it came with it. It didn't, but beautifully done. The trigger does move, so you can move the trigger back and forth. This, you can also move back and forth. It does kind of undo things. So I don't know if it really works. Kind of works. You can also collapse this if you want, although I think the gun intended to be forward like that. Nothing's, you can't really see through. So, but really beautiful gun mode. And obviously somewhat meaningless and arbitrary size comparison, but there it is next to the Stu Series 86 trailer, and it's a pretty big gun. I mean, it works well. So final recommendations on the Newage Romulus. It's a pretty good figure. I'm going to give it a 4 to 5. I'll recommend it. I really like the robot mode. I think they did a good job with articulation. The accessories are nice. I do like the mace especially. The gun and the sword are okay. They work. The alternate faces are definitely well done. I think there is a little bit of a greenish hue on them. Not a huge fan of that. But overall, the faces and the head sculpt and the sculpt in general looks really good on this guy. Gun mode looks really good. Getting there is, a bit challenging, but it's a great looking gun mode. Probably one of the more convincing Megatrons that both modes look well done. I think where this guy kind of lets you down is at the price point of $80 to $100, depending where you bought it. I think I paid $80. It feels like a very expensive chug figure, and the other figures you're putting in it with are somewhere between 30 for Voyager, 35 or 55 for leader class. It just seems like it's a bit up there, and I know it's a better quality figure, more paint, etc. But at the size that they produce, I do think that it feels a little small, and the fact that it doesn't come with the barrel or the stock for the gun does seem like a miss. Now, I'm guessing they're going to put out an add-on kit for the stock and the barrel, so that'll probably come out later. But it just feels like for that price point, a little bit more value needed to be thrown in that box. But Either way, I still like it. I'm playing easier for gun mode. I do recommend it. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.